Picture this, it's 95 degrees in the shade, the air is thick and still, and your backyard feeder is full of seeds. To us, it looks like a generous gift. But to a tiny chickadee or a vibrant cardinal, that metal roof over the feeder isn't just hot, it's a trap. Every year, thousands of backyard birds die not from starvation, but from heat exhaustion. And the heartbreaking part is that many of these deaths are caused by well-meaning people who don't realize they're making things worse. You might think you're helping by putting out extra food or water, but if you're doing it the wrong way, you could actually be signing their death warrant. Today, we're going to uncover the hidden dangers lurking in your own garden during summer heat waves, and more importantly, I'm going to show you exactly what to stop doing right now to keep your feathered friends safe. Most folks never notice this, but birds don't sweat like we do. They can't just wipe their brows or jump in a pool to cool off. They rely on something called panting and gular fluttering, which is basically vibrating their throat muscles to evaporate moisture. It works, but it uses up an incredible amount of energy and water. When the temperature climbs above 85 degrees, birds enter survival mode. They stop singing. They stop foraging. They sit perfectly still in the deepest shade they can find, trying to conserve every drop of moisture in their bodies. This is why you might notice your backyard seems unusually quiet on those scorching afternoons. It's not because the birds have left, it's because they are hiding, struggling to stay alive. But here's the surprising part. The biggest threat often isn't the sun itself, it's what we put out for them. Let's talk about bird baths. You probably have one in your yard, thinking it's a lifesaver, and it can be, but only if you're maintaining it correctly. Many people fill their baths and leave them for days at a time. In the heat, that stagnant water becomes a breeding ground for mosquitoes and bacteria within 24 hours. Worse yet, if the water gets too warm, it becomes useless. Birds need cool water to lower their body temperature. If they land in a bath that's been baking in the sun for hours, it's like stepping into a hot tub when you're already overheating. It doesn't help, it stresses them out further. So, step one to saving your birds is simple. Change your bath water at least twice a day during heat waves, morning and late afternoon. Keep it fresh, keep it cool, and keep it clean. Now, let's address something that shocks many birdwatchers: bird feeders. Yes, you heard that right. During extreme heat, you might need to take your feeders down. Here's why. Most commercial birdseed contains oils and fats. In high temperatures, these seeds go rancid quickly. Rancid seed isn't just unappetizing. It can make birds sick. Their digestive systems are delicate, and eating spoiled food when they are already dehydrated can be fatal. Furthermore, feeding birds requires energy. Digestion generates body heat. When a bird eats dry seeds, its body has to use precious internal water to break down that food. In a heat wave, water is more valuable than calories. By forcing them to eat dry seeds, you're inadvertently making them thirstier. Hold on, because this gets interesting. Instead of seeds, consider offering fresh fruits like watermelon, cantaloupe, or berries. These foods have high water content and provide hydration along with nutrition. It's a game changer for birds struggling to cope with the heat. You might be wondering, what about suet? Suet is a favorite for woodpeckers and nuthatches, but in the summer, it's a major hazard. Traditional suet melts. When it melts, it can coat a bird's feathers. If a bird's feathers get coated in greasy suet, they lose their ability to regulate temperature and fly properly. It's a deadly situation. If you must offer suet in the summer, switch to no-melt varieties specifically designed for warm weather, or better yet, skip it entirely until the temperatures drop. The reason why is actually amazing. Birds are incredibly adaptable, but they have limits. By removing high-fat, dry foods and replacing them with hydrating options, you're working with their biology, not against it. And that's not even the best part. There's a simple trick involving your garden plants that most people completely miss. Native plants are not just pretty, they are air conditioners for your backyard. Non-native ornamental plants often require more water and provide less shade. Native trees and shrubs like oaks, maples, and dogwoods create microclimates. The air under a native oak tree can be 10 to 15 degrees cooler than the open lawn. Birds know this. They seek out these specific trees during the hottest part of the day. If your yard is mostly grass and exotic flowers, you're missing a crucial cooling zone. Planting a few native shrubs can create safe havens where birds can rest without expending energy on panting. It's a long-term solution that pays off every single summer. Here's where things get really interesting. Have you ever seen a bird bathing in dust? It looks messy, but it's vital. Dust bathing helps birds remove parasites and keep their feathers in top condition. Healthy feathers are essential for insulation and cooling. However, during a heat wave, dry dust can be irritating. If you have a patch of bare soil, lightly misting it with water can create a perfect mud bath area for sparrows and towhees. It helps them cool down while they groom. It's a small detail, but it shows how attuned birds are to their environment. They're looking for every possible advantage to survive. Believe it or not, your pets play a role here too. Cats are natural predators, and during heat waves, birds are slower and more vulnerable. A bird that is overheated cannot react as quickly to a stalking cat. Keeping your cats indoors during extreme heat isn't just good for the cats. It's a critical protection for the birds. It reduces the stress load on the bird population, allowing them to focus on staying cool rather than staying alive. What happens next surprises many birdwatchers. As the evening approaches and the temperature finally starts to drop, you'll see a burst of activity. This is the golden hour for birds. They rush to drink, bathe, and feed before nightfall. This is the best time to refill your baths and offer fresh fruit. By timing your care to their natural rhythm, you maximize your impact. You're not just throwing resources out there, you're providing support exactly when they need it most. The reason why all of this matters goes beyond just saving individual birds. Backyard birds are indicators of environmental health. When they thrive, our ecosystems thrive. They control insect populations, pollinate plants, and spread seeds. By adjusting our habits during heat waves, we're supporting the entire web of life in our neighborhoods. It's a small effort with a huge ripple effect. So let's recap the critical steps. Stop leaving stagnant water out. Stop offering rancid seeds or melting suet. Start changing water twice daily. Start offering watery fruits. Start planting native shade trees. And most importantly, start paying attention. Watch your birds. Notice when they stop singing. Notice when they seek the deepest shade. Let their behavior guide your actions. It's easy to feel helpless in the face of rising temperatures, but you have more power than you think. Your backyard is a sanctuary. With a few simple changes, you can turn it from a potential hazard into a true refuge. The next time you see a cardinal perched quietly in the shadows of your oak tree, you'll know it's not just resting, it's surviving, and thanks to you, it has a fighting chance. I'd love to hear from you. What's the hottest day you've ever seen in your area, and how did your birds react? Did you notice them behaving differently? Share your stories in the comments below. Let's learn from each other and keep our backyard friends safe together. Thanks for watching, and remember, nature is closer than you think. But wait, there is another hidden danger in your yard that almost nobody talks about, and it's something you probably use every single day. I'm talking about your windows. You might think a clean window is a good thing, but during heat waves, glass becomes a deadly mirror. Here's the science behind it. When it's hot outside, birds are flying lower and faster, often seeking shade or escaping predators. If your windows reflect the sky or the trees in your yard, birds see an open path. They don't see the glass, they see freedom, and they fly into it at full speed. Now you might be thinking, I've never seen a bird hit my window. That's because most collisions happen when you're not looking. And even if the bird flies away after hitting the glass, it's often suffering from a concussion or internal bleeding. In the heat, their bodies are already stressed. A minor injury that they might survive in cooler weather can become fatal when they can't regulate their temperature or find water. This is especially true for hummingbirds. These tiny jewels are incredibly fast and agile, but they are also prone to striking windows because they defend territories aggressively. During a heat wave, a hummingbird defending a feeder near a window is expending massive amounts of energy. If it strikes the glass, the shock combined with heat exhaustion can be too much. So, what can you do? It's simpler than you think. You don't need to buy expensive decals. You can use tempera paint or soap to create patterns on the outside of your windows. The key is to break up the reflection. Birds need to see that the surface is solid. Even simple stripes spaced 2 inches apart can save lives. And here's a pro tip, move your feeders. If your feeder is right next to a window, move it either very close within 3 feet or far away more than 30 feet. Why? If it's within 3 feet, the bird doesn't have enough room to gain speed before hitting the glass, so the impact is minor. If it's far away, they can see the window as part of the house structure and avoid it. It's a small adjustment that makes a huge difference. Let's talk about another common mistake, misting systems. You've probably seen those cute little misters attached to patios or gardens. They look refreshing, right? Water droplets dancing in the air. But for birds, these can be dangerous traps. Most commercial misters create a fine fog that doesn't actually provide drinking water. Instead, it wets the bird's feathers without giving them a chance to drink. Wet feathers in high humidity are a disaster. Birds rely on their feathers being dry and fluffy to insulate them and allow air circulation. If their feathers get soaked by a mister and they can't dry off because the humidity is too high, they can actually overheat faster. It's counterintuitive, but true. Instead of misters, provide shallow dishes with rough stones in them. This allows birds to stand in the water, splash, and drink without getting completely drenched. It gives them control over how much they cool down. And here's where things get really interesting. Have you ever noticed birds opening their wings wide while perching? It looks like they're stretching, but it's actually a behavior called wing drooping. They are exposing the skin under their wings to the air to release heat. It's similar to how elephants flap their ears. Some birds, like vultures and crows, do this prominently, but even smaller birds like starlings and grackles will do it subtly. If you see this, it's a sign that the heat is severe. It's a visual cue that your backyard environment needs to be as supportive as possible. This is the time to ensure there are no disturbances. Keep dogs indoors, keep noise levels down, and let the birds rest. Every bit of energy they save on stress is energy they can use to stay cool. Now, let's dive deeper into the food aspect, because there's a specific nutrient that becomes critical in the heat: electrolytes. Just like athletes need sports drinks after a tough workout, birds lose salts and minerals when they pant excessively. You can help them by offering a tiny pinch of salt in their bath water. I know it sounds weird, but a very slight saline solution can help replenish what they've lost. But be careful, too much salt is toxic. We're talking a mere pinch in a gallon of water. It's not about making it salty like the ocean. It's about mimicking the natural mineral content they might find in certain soil deposits. Most people completely miss this, but it can be a lifeline for birds that have been panting for hours. Another surprising factor is the color of your garden accessories. Dark colors absorb heat. If you have black plastic feeders, dark brown pots, or black landscape fabric, these surfaces can reach temperatures well over 100 degrees. Birds landing on these surfaces can burn their feet. Yes, their feet can get burned. It's rare, but it happens. Try to use light-colored feeders or place wooden perches on metal ones to create a barrier. Shade your feeders with umbrellas or cloth covers. Not only does this keep the seeds cooler, but it also keeps the structure itself cooler to the touch. It's a simple tweak that shows you're thinking about their comfort from head to toe. Let's also talk about baby birds. Summer is nesting season for many species, including robins, cardinals, and finches. Nestlings are incredibly vulnerable to heat. They can't pant effectively yet, and they're packed together in a nest, generating body heat. Parent birds work overtime to bring water and shade the chicks with their own bodies. If you find a nest in a spot that gets direct afternoon sun, you might be tempted to move it. Don't. Moving a nest is illegal for most native birds and usually results in the parents abandoning it. Instead, create artificial shade. You can hang a piece of burlap or a light cloth above the nest, secured to a branch, to block the harsh midday sun. Make sure it's loose enough for the parents to fly in and out easily. This simple act of shading can lower the nest temperature by several degrees, giving those babies a much better chance of survival. Believe it or not, even your lawn care habits matter. Chemical fertilizers and pesticides can contaminate the water sources birds rely on. When it rains, or when you water your garden, those chemicals run off into puddles and bird baths. Birds drinking this contaminated water can suffer from toxicity, which weakens their immune systems. In a heat wave, a weakened bird has no reserve strength to fight off illness. Switching to organic gardening methods isn't just good for the soil, it's a direct health benefit for your birds. Plus, organic gardens tend to have more insects, which are a crucial protein source for growing chicks and adult birds alike. Protein helps repair tissue and maintain feather quality, which is essential for insulation. Here's a final thought that might change how you view your backyard. Think of your yard as a patchwork quilt of microhabitats. You have sunny spots, shady spots, wet areas, and dry areas. Diversity is key. A yard with only grass and a few trees is like a desert for birds in the summer. But a yard with layers, tall trees, medium shrubs, low ground cover, and water sources is a fortress against the heat. Each layer provides a different cooling strategy. The tall trees block the sun. The shrubs block the wind and provide privacy. The ground cover holds moisture. By creating this layered effect, you're not just planting a garden. You're building a life support system. As we wrap up, remember that consistency is everything. One day of fresh water won't save a bird. A summer of consistent care will. It's about building trust. Birds learn where the safe spots are. They remember which yards offer cool, clean water and which ones are dangerous. By becoming a reliable source of safety, you become part of their survival network. It's a profound connection, one that transcends species. You are helping them endure one of the toughest challenges nature throws at them. So take a look around your yard today. Is there a dark feeder baking in the sun? Is your bird bath green with algae? Are your windows reflecting the sky? Fix one thing today, then fix another tomorrow. Small steps add up to big changes. And the reward, the sight of a healthy, vibrant bird splashing in your bath on a hot July afternoon. There's nothing quite like it. It's a reminder that despite the heat, despite the challenges, life finds a way, and with your help, it thrives. I want to know what you're going to change in your yard first. Are you going to move your feeders, plant a native tree, or maybe just start changing that water twice a day? Let me know in the comments. Your ideas might inspire someone else to take action too. Thanks for spending this time with me and with the birds. Stay cool, stay curious, and